In the tumultuous world of Beyond the Gates, few characters have stirred as much debate and emotional investment as Bill, a man whose life has been a tapestry of ambition, loyalty, and profound missteps. The recent kidnapping of his daughter Chelsea has thrust Bill into a maelstrom of introspection, forcing him to confront the wreckage of his past choices and the fragility of his present. As the crisis unfolds, a pivotal question looms. Will Bill, awakened by the terror of losing Chelsea, finally recognize who truly matters in his life? Will he abandon his relationship with Haley, a connection born of a midlife crisis, to seek redemption with his former wife, Dani, and the family he once took for granted? This article delves into the dramatic unraveling of Bill's journey, exploring the emotional, psychological, and relational stakes that define his path toward potential redemption, or further ruin. A life shaped by the Duprey dynasty. To understand Bill's current predicament, we must first unravel the threads of his past, intricately woven into the powerful Duprey family. For much of his adult life, Bill has lived in the shadow of their influence, his career and identity tethered to their wealth and connections. The Dupreys, a formidable dynasty in Beyond the Gates, provided Bill with opportunities that shaped his professional ascent. From his early days as an ambitious young man, he leaned on their support, their resources fueling his rise in a cutthroat world. Yet, this alliance came at a cost. Bill's dependence on the Dupreys fostered a sense of obligation, a subtle but pervasive undercurrent that eroded his autonomy and left him feeling perpetually undervalued. Despite his contributions to the family's empire, his sharp intellect, his relentless work ethic, Bill was often treated as a cog in their well-oiled machine. The Dupreys, with their aristocratic air and unspoken expectation of loyalty, took Bill's efforts for granted, relegating him to the role of a dependable subordinate rather than an equal. This dynamic, simmering beneath the surface for years, planted the seeds of discontent that would later erupt into his personal life, particularly in his marriage to Dani. The fracture of a family, Bill and Dani's unraveling. Bill's marriage to Dani was once the cornerstone of his life, a partnership built on shared dreams and the joy of raising their two daughters, Chelsea and her sister. Dani, with her quiet strength and unwavering devotion, represented a grounding force for Bill, a counterbalance to the high-stakes world of the Dupreys. Together, they crafted a family that, for a time, seemed unassailable. But as the years wore on, the pressures of Bill's career and the Dupreys' influence began to seep into their home, eroding the foundation of their bond. Bill's ambition, once a shared aspiration with Dani, became a wedge. Long hours, endless obligations, and the constant need to prove himself to the Dupreys left little room for the intimacy and connection that had once defined their marriage. Dani, who had sacrificed her own dreams to support Bill's ascent, began to feel like a ghost in her own life, her contributions overlooked as Bill chased validation from those who would never truly value him. The cracks in their relationship deepened, and Bill, consumed by his own insecurities, failed to see the toll it took on Dani and their daughters. The final blow came when Bill, grappling with a midlife crisis that left him questioning his worth, turned away from Dani entirely. Enter Haley, a vibrant, younger woman who offered Bill a fleeting sense of escape from his burdens. Haley, unburdened by the weight of Bill's past with the Dupreys or the complexities of his family life, represented a clean slate, a chance to reclaim the vitality he felt slipping away. Their relationship, born of this crisis, was less about love and more about Bill's desperate attempt to rewrite his narrative. But as the dust settled, it became clear that Haley, with her own ambitions and detachment from Bill's history, could never truly understand the man he was, or the man he longed to become. The catalyst, Chelsea's kidnapping. The kidnapping of Chelsea, Bill's beloved daughter, is the seismic event that shatters the fragile equilibrium of his life. The terror of her abduction pierces through the fog of his self-absorption, forcing him to confront the consequences of his choices with brutal clarity. Chelsea, a vibrant young woman who inherited her mother's resilience and her father's tenacity, represents the best of what Bill and Dani built together. Her disappearance is not just a personal tragedy but a mirror held up to Bill's failures, reflecting the ways in which he has let down those who mattered most. In the frantic hours following Chelsea's kidnapping, Bill is thrust into a whirlwind of fear, guilt, and desperation. Every moment spent searching for her is a moment of reckoning, as he grapples with the realization that his choices, his neglect of his family, his betrayal of Danu, his entanglement with Haley, have left him ill-equipped to protect those he loves. The crisis lays bare the stark contrast between his past with Danu and his present with Haley. Where Danu was a partner in every sense, sharing the weight of their family's joys and sorrows, Haley is a bystander, unable to comprehend the depth of Bill's anguish or the history that binds him to his daughters. The midlife crisis and the cost of Haley. Bill's relationship with Haley, while initially intoxicating, is a house built on sand. Born out of his midlife crisis, it is a connection rooted in escapism rather than substance. Haley, with her youthful energy and unencumbered perspective, offered Bill a temporary reprieve from the pressures of his life. She was a symbol of what he thought he wanted, a chance to start over, to be seen as something more than the Dupre's loyal servant. But as the thrill of their affair faded, the reality of their differences became impossible to ignore. Haley, for all her charm, lacks the shared history that tethered Bill to Danu. She does not know the weight of the Dupre family's expectations, nor does she understand the sacrifices Bill made to build his career. Their relationship, while passionate, is shallow, lacking the depth that comes from weathering life's storms together. The kidnapping of Chelsea only amplifies this disconnect. As Bill grapples with the terror of losing his daughter, Haley's inability to offer meaningful support underscores the emptiness of their bond. She is a spectator to his pain, unable to bridge the gap between her world and his. The crisis forces Bill to confront the high price of his choices. By leaving Danu for Haley, he sacrificed not only his marriage but also the respect of his daughters. Chelsea and her sister, who once looked to their father with admiration, now see a man who abandoned their mother for a fleeting affair. The pain of this realization is a wound that festers, made all the more acute by Chelsea's abduction. Bill begins to see, with devastating clarity, that his pursuit of Haley was not a path to freedom but a betrayal of everything he held dear. The ghost of Danu, a love taken for granted. Danu, in contrast to Haley, is the embodiment of everything Bill has lost. She was his partner, his confidant, the woman who stood by his side through the trials of his career and the demands of the Dupres. Their marriage, though flawed, was built on a foundation of shared sacrifice and mutual respect. A foundation Bill dismantled with his own hands. Danu's absence in his life is a constant ache, a reminder of the stability and love he took for granted. In the wake of Chelsea's kidnapping, Danu re-enters Bill's orbit, not as a savior but as a mirror to his failures. Her strength and composure, even in the face of their daughter's peril, stand in stark contrast to Bill's unraveling. Danu has moved forward, rebuilding her life after Bill's betrayal, yet she remains tethered to him through their daughters. Her presence is a quiet rebuke, a reminder of the family he fractured and the woman he undervalued. Bill's interactions with Danu during the crisis are fraught with tension and unspoken regret. Every glance, every word exchanged, carries the weight of their shared history. Danu's resilience forces Bill to confront the man he has become, a man who traded a meaningful partnership for a hollow affair. The question that haunts him is whether it is too late to reclaim what he lost, to earn back Danu's trust and rebuild the family he so carelessly discarded. The path to redemption, will Bill choose Danu? The kidnapping of Chelsea is more than a plot point in Beyond the Gates, it is the crucible in which Bill's character is tested. The crisis strips away the illusions that have sustained him, forcing him to confront the truth about his relationships and his priorities. Haley, once a symbol of renewal, now feels like a mistake, a distraction from the life he should have cherished. Danu, on the other hand, represents a chance at redemption, a path back to the man he once was. But redemption is not guaranteed. Bill's betrayal of Danu was not a single act but a series of choices that eroded her trust and fractured their family. To reunite with her would require more than an apology, it would demand a fundamental transformation. Bill must confront his own weaknesses, his tendency to seek validation from others, whether it be the Dupres or Haley. He must prove, not just to Danu but to himself, that he is capable of prioritizing his family above his own desires. The audience is left to ponder whether Bill will break up with Haley and seek to reunite with Danu. On one hand, the crisis with Chelsea could be the wake-up call he needs, a moment of clarity that propels him to fight for his family. The terror of losing his daughter could galvanize him, forcing him to see that his true home lies with Danu and their daughters. On the other hand, Bill's history of self-sabotage suggests that he may falter, unable to summon the courage to let go of Haley and face the hard work of rebuilding what he broke. The stakes, a family's future, hangs in the balance. The stakes in Bill's story are nothing less than the future of his family. Chelsea's kidnapping is a stark reminder of how fragile life can be, and how quickly the things that matter most can slip away. For Bill, the crisis is an opportunity to rewrite his legacy, not as a man defined by the Dupreys or his midlife mistakes, but as a father and husband who fought for those he loved. The audience is left with a question that resonates beyond the screen. Can a man who has lost so much find his way back to the people who matter most? Will Bill recognize that his relationship with Haley, born of insecurity and escapism, pales in comparison to the life he built with Danu? Or will he remain trapped in his own flaws, unable to break free from the patterns that have defined his life? Conclusion: a story of redemption or tragedy? As Beyond the Gates unfolds, Bill's journey is a compelling exploration of human frailty and the possibility of redemption. The kidnapping of Chelsea has laid bare the consequences of his choices, forcing him to confront the man he has become and the man he could still be. The contrast between Haley and Danu, between a fleeting affair and a meaningful partnership, underscores the stakes of his decision. Will Bill abandon Haley, recognizing that she cannot fill the void left by his family? Will he fight to reunite with Danu, proving that he has learned from his mistakes? Or will he succumb to the inertia of his past, doomed to repeat the same errors that cost him everything? The beauty of Bill's story lies in its ambiguity. It is a tale of a man at a crossroads, torn between the allure of a new beginning and the pull of a past he cannot escape. As viewers, we are left to hope that Chelsea's crisis will be the catalyst that awakens Bill to the truth, that the love and family he took for granted are worth fighting for, no matter the cost. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. TV soap news and spoilers for more updates on Beyond the Gates.